Hello world. Thought I'd make a quick update on the garden before I get back to studying. I'm going to start out here with the 5 rows of peppers. Sweet peppers, that is. Bell peppers. The first row is albino bullnose peppers. The second row are orange bell peppers. The third row is Quadrato di Asti Rosso. I'm not sure how to say that. Quadrato di Asti Rosso. The last 2 rows here, the bigger rows, the ones that are doing better, are Ozark Giant peppers. I'm actually starting to get a few of those. See if I can get down here and show you. I'm going to be careful with the bees and try to capture a bee on video. Not an easy task, but there's quite a few bees in the garden lately. But starting to get some peppers on. There it is. Let's see. Alright, we got the tomatoes all staked up. Because things weren't so great in the beginning, the rows aren't quite as defined, but the first 2 are mostly San Marzano tomatoes, and they're coming on pretty good. Getting a decent amount of those coming in. None red yet, though. This third row here is mostly beefsteak. Probably some cherry tomatoes down at the end. Those are coming on too. Getting some of those going. And this last row is a mix of San Marzanos, and I'm not even sure honestly if any survived, but this another sort of medium slicer variety called Hazelfield Farm. I think that might be one down there, that shorter tomato. Those 2 in the middle are probably the only ones that lived. Maybe. This one doesn't quite look like a cherry tomato, so this might be one. I could get the camera to show it. There we go. I get my fat butt out of the way and stop making so much shade. So let's see. I'm gonna stand down here. Stop being the shade maker. These are basil plants. In the middle there is where some zucchinis that died. They didn't really die. They never really got started. It was not a good year for zucchinis so far, as I'm about to show you. I need to plant some more stuff here, but I've just been busy studying. Let's see. Now here's where 2 zucchinis are planted side by side. This one sags like this every single day, and then I water it a ton and it comes back for a little bit and then it sags again. And I'm getting pretty sick of this one on the left, so I think I might tear it out today because I still have plenty of zucchini left from last year in the freezer. And I really am not all that much in a hurry to get more of it, so I'll probably tear that up because I'm sick of it. We got 3 rows of, see now I'm making shade again, 3 rows of bush beans. Most of those are doing pretty well. I've done some planting, like this one down here is probably one I planted a few weeks ago, coming together. I need to replant some of these runts and some of these blank spaces, but again, I've just been so busy studying that I just don't have time for it. So I gotta talk someone into doing it for me, I guess. And then the last rows, 2 rows of lettuce down here, along with my raspberries, which have pretty much stopped producing for the most part. A little bit still going on down here, and I'm not, there we go, making shade. The lens on this stupid phone isn't right in the middle, so it's hard to sort of figure out what it's pointing at. So lettuce. I replanted some lettuce here. hopefully some of it grows up. I don't know. It's hard to keep things wet around here. Some of the garden stays nice and wet, and some of it is just dry as a bone sometimes. Let's see, finally, got some really sorry looking blueberry plants that, again, I moved this soaker hose down here to try and revive them. I was always under the impression that blueberries weren't fans of a lot of water, so I tried to do it that way, but it doesn't seem to be working, so I'm going to try lots of water instead. So then down here, got my cucumbers. They are starting to come along after a very sorry beginning. I'm starting to climb my trellis and everything else. I'll try to bring them back to the net if they're not doing it on their own, and then I like to see. I see my hand. I like to try and wrap the tendrils for them if they're not doing it themselves. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. It'd be a lot easier to do if I was doing it with two hands. And I broke it. But you get the point. I'll probably do it afterward, when I have a free hand to do this right, because I'm just going to keep breaking tendrils probably. But I'm trying to get it to climb. They usually do for the most part. Haven't really had a lot of cucumbers yet though. I'll make a quick trip up to the back deck and show you what's going on there. Actually, I think I'll show you my grandma working real hard real quick. Let's see. Go over to this wall. Got some really sorry tomatoes, San Marzanos. Again, those are paste tomatoes from Italy. Got a rogue pepper plant I planted here. Some more plants I had nothing to do with that I had nowhere to put, so I planted them on this wall. So it looks like cherry tomatoes, maybe. Actually, you know what? I didn't plant these. These are volunteers. I forgot about that. So I guess they were volunteers. I must have had cherries there last year. And then there's one more pepper plant down here. And then my grandma weeding. Hey Grandma, you can talk to me now.
What kind of video are you making?
About the garden. These are Irish poet flowers. Bright orange. Coxcombs, some hollyhocks. I started all this from seed. Coxcombs are starting to get some flowers on them finally. These are some gazinias that haven't opened up today yet. But there's more coming there. A rogue basil plant. Some celosia. I think that's how you say it, I'm not sure. Coxcombs. Some flowers, some big honking flowers, I'm not sure what they do. Bachelor's buttons. Asters that aren't flowering yet, and another one I'm not quite sure what it is. I came up and did that to show you the rogue flower in my strawberry bed. Now here's the strawberry bed, which has pretty much stopped for the time. I'm hoping I to get another crop in the fall because they're ever-bearing. But here's a very cool flower that showed up in the bed. I don't think I bought any like that. Another one over there. So I don't know. A hummingbird or something maybe pooped it out from somebody else's garden. The asparagus. Let's see, really sad looking flower bed at this point. I have to keep watering it, and it just does not retain water well enough. So next year I think I'll add some soil moist, or if I can find it, any more vermiculite to the flower bed. It's hard to find vermiculite so much anymore because it has tested positive for asbestos before, so not a lot of people carry it, and I wouldn't use it with my food crops, but for flowers I don't really care. It's my one of my compost piles. Let's see, some like volunteer things that came off of my plants in the front. Plants like these put out crazy amounts of volunteers, so I always get free plants from that, and I always try to plant a few somewhere. Let's see. It's a garden gnomes. Got some catnip in my stupid catnip experiment, but it's working pretty well. Smells really nice. We got some flowering ones down here. Try and keep it from flowering. I want it to grow, not flower, because it's the leaves that I'm after for my cats. Make these little bags and put the catnip in it, and the cats just go crazy for it. They'll often just lay on the bags and fight over them, which can be amusing to watch. I mean, they don't hurt each other, but it's funny to watch them go after it. Let's see, almost done with the world's longest, shakiest, most poorly filmed garden video. Here's a mess I got going on. I got to put in a French drain, try and stop messes from happening, but my work got stopped by my need to study for the bar, so it's the way she goes sometimes. Alright, here is what's going on the deck, and this is my first red tomato of the year, and it's already spawning an orange one next to it. This is a Super Sweet 100 hybrid cherry tomato that I picked up at a local nursery across the border in Indiana. This thing's putting on tons of tomatoes, tons, a ridiculous amount. I wouldn't be surprised if I pulled at least 100 off this plant. Got some basil plants here. When I moved them from the other side of the deck to over here where it gets more sun, they've blown up. These two I just moved this week, these and that one over there, and they're already showing more signs of life than before. So when I'm making tomato basil sauce for my tomatoes, that'll make it a lot better. I won't have to buy dried basil or anything, so be a better sauce, hopefully. Another compost thing, EnviroCycle. It's probably a little better than most, but it's still not particularly great compost turner. I don't know if anyone makes one. I have an idea in my head for one, but I don't have the resources to make it. Maybe someday I'll tell someone who does. Let's see. Now this is like this is another cherry tomato. I believe it's called a Riesentrube, a German heirloom cherry tomato. I got it from I just had it in my head. It's at rareseeds.com. What is it, Bakerfield Farm? No, I don't know. If you go to rareseeds.com, pretty good company. They got me my seeds quick for reasonable prices. I mean, cheaper than Burpee, but I'm not really trying to create any brand loyalty or anything. Just this experience I had this year. This one is started. I think I saw one yesterday down here. Yeah, here we go. Try to get this camera to focus and get my butt out of the way. There we go. So that's that. It's starting to put on tomatoes too, finally. These are some 4 o'clocks. They're not open yet, but they open up at night. I think they were supposed to open at 4 o'clock because of the name, but it's still too hot around here, so I think that affects their ability to open up. Marigolds, more random flowers that aren't flowering, so don't waste your time. These things have been a mess hanging off the rail. But they do have some pretty blue flowers. If these were planted properly in the ground, these would probably be some really nice bushy flower plants. I think these might be poppies down here. Just getting ready to open up. I think. I'm not positive because they got transplanted. They could be larkspurs. They could be anything. Not 100% certain. It's a little more basil. A little more cat. See? Look at that. He already found the catnip. Coming after it. Milo! Hey, Milo. And there's another cat. That's Doc Holliday. My grandma let the dog in. So, anyway, this video is much longer. It's like a Hickok 45 video. I need to stop doing this, but I don't have the time to edit or anything right now. But the test is in 2 weeks, and after that I'll have some time to try and make some better videos for y'all. But thanks for watching, sitting through my nonsense. I appreciate it. Till next time.